Hello, Librarian Alex, and today's story, Charlie Cook's favourite book. There he is, there's Charlie, sat in his armchair, reading his favourite book. Oh, but what book is it? Let's look more closely. Can you see that the book he's reading has a pirate and a bear and a dragon and a boy? There's a pirate and a dragon and a bear. The book he's reading is this book. How does that happen? A book inside a book. It's a bit like those Russian dolls. You take them out and inside one doll there's another one and then another one and then another one. This book is written by Julia Donaldson. Why, don't you know? She also wrote The Gruffalo and fantastic pictures by Axel Scheffler. These pictures have so many details in them that you can read this book again and again and again and see new things in the pictures every time. What can you see here? Well, we've got the green dragon, who actually looks quite friendly and jolly. Yep, we've got a pirate and his parrot. We've got a bear. Do you know any stories with bears in them? I bet you do. We've got a knight in armour sat on the grass and a frog sat on a couple of books here, more books. So this story has a story within a story within a story, a book within a book within a book. That's right. Should we get started? Do you have any favourite books? This is one of my favourites, but I have a lot of favourites. Maybe you have books that you read again and again and again, like the characters in this story. Let's see. Oh, there he is, sat on his armchair. Ooh, a bookshelf full of books. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I like how we've got these knights in armour as the bookends, holding them all up straight. Loads of books. These are all the books that are going to appear in the story. Now this one, with the apple and a spaceman and other little objects all down, a zebra and a banana, that's an encyclopedia. That means it's a information book, tells you about the world. What else have we got? Oh, the first one is called Shiver Me Timbers. You can read the title on the spine there. So that must be about pirates. Got fairy tales with a cat dressed in boots and a hat. Got a joke book and a book about birds. Let's read all of these books in one go. And there he is. He looks like he's just been to the library, doesn't he? And collected a pile of books. Charlie Cook's favourite book. There he is in his armchair. Can you see? Reading. And his mum's in the kitchen with the cat peeking around the doorway. Oh, now in this picture are lots of clues. Things that are going to appear in the story. We've got a picture up there with a lady in it, wearing a white veil. There's a picture there of a crocodile. We've got, oh, there's a nice piece of chocolate cake on the table and a cup, a mug with a crown on it. What else have we got? Maybe you can just take a look at that picture for a while. And how do all good stories begin? That's right. Once upon a time, there was a boy called Charlie Cook, who curled up in a cosy chair to read his favourite book. About, what was it about? About a leaky pirate ship, which very nearly sank, and a pirate chief who got the blame and had to walk the plank. There he is, he's walking the plank and splosh into the sea. The chief swam to an island and went digging with his hook. Yes, because all pirates have hooks, don't they? And at last he found a treasure chest, and in it was a book. That's right, look, he's very happy, isn't he, that he's found that. And I like the fact that he's ignored the other treasure. There's gold coins and a pearl necklace, but the most precious thing is the book. About... What's it about? Do you recognise that? 3 bears and a little girl. Do you know this story? I Bet you do. About a girl called Goldilocks and 3 indignant bears who cried, "Who's had our porridge? Who's been sitting on our chairs?" Look there. She's eaten the porridge and knocked over the bowl and knocked over the chair. What a rascal girl. They went into the bedroom and Baby Bear said, "Look, she's in my bed, and what is more, she's got my favourite book." Can you see that she's tucked under the covers and reading his favourite book? So what's that book about? What's Baby Bear's favourite book about? Now, who have we got here? We've got a knight. Do you remember he was on the front cover? And that dragon. And look, he's fiercely throwing fire out of his mouth. About Sir Percy Pilkington, a bold and fearless knight, who told the dragon, "Wait, I'm not quite ready for the fight." Oh. "You must hear this one first." And then his armour clanked and shook as he read aloud a joke he'd found inside his favourite book. And look, they're both laughing away. So he's told the dragon a joke from his favourite joke book. So rather than fighting, they're laughing. Well, his favourite book about... Rabbit. Can you see it's a frog? And actually that frog is reading a book and bouncing. About Rowena Red-a-Lot, a very well-read frog who jumped upon a lily pad, boink, and jumped upon a log, boink, and jumped into a library which stood beside the brook, boink, and went, "Read it," as she jumped upon a book. So that's the joke, do you get it? Because frogs go, "Read it." That's the noise they make, but it also sounds like I've read it. So she's jumped on the book and said, "I've read it." Do you get it? And the book she jumped on, well, look at them. I love, actually, they're all, just look at their faces. How surprised are they to find a frog jump into the library carrying a book? I think you'd be surprised too. But the book she jumped on was about... Ooh, so that's that bird book we saw on the shelf in the beginning. About an oak tree full of birds. Each bird had built a nest. And they had a competition to decide which one was best. So can you see all their nests? She's decorated hers with flowers. There's more flowers. That one's a bit plain. And oh, look at that rook. What has he or she lined her nest with? They chose an owl to judge it. And the winner was a rook, whose nest was lined with pages from his very favourite book. Yeah, you're getting all the rhyming words, aren't you? So the bird had actually pulled the pages out of a book to make a nest. And I love the way that pigeon isn't looking very happy that she lost. No. And there's other great characters here. Can you see the squirrel? I know there's a squirrel somewhere. Oh, all the way over there, nibbling on an acorn. That's right. There's so many beautiful birds. Now, his favourite book was about... About a girl who saw a flying saucer in the sky. Some small green men were in it, and they waved as they flew by. Hello. Such aliens in a spaceship. Well, she's very surprised, so what does she do? She tugged her mother's sleeve and said, "Look, Mum, what I've just seen." But Mum said, "Hush, I'm trying to read my favourite magazine." So this time the rhyming word isn't book, it's magazine. Scene and magazine. And there she is. She doesn't want to be bothered by her daughter, no. She's reading her favourite magazine. About... Now, what can you see here? This is the magazine. These are the magazine pages. And we've got a picture here. And there's a gentleman, a fine gentleman, asleep in a chair. And, oh, there's a robber. You can tell he's a robber because he's got an eye mask on. And he's carrying a sack. And what's he got in there? Uh-oh, jewels. About a wicked jewel thief who stole the king's best crown. Oh, no, it's the king. That's the king and that's his crown. But then got stuck behind some sheep, which slowed his car right down. So he's trying to escape in his car, but these sheep get in the way. The king dialed 999, and soon the cops had caught the crook. There he is. He's been caught. And flung him into prison, where he read his favourite book. He doesn't look too unhappy about being in prison there because he's got his lovely book. And I like this page because it's got other, because it's meant in a magazine and sometimes they have adverts and other stories. There's another story here, or is it an advert? It's about an advert for boots. Dr. Foster's patented galoshes. Does that name sound familiar? Do you remember there's a nursery rhyme about Dr. Foster went to Gloucester? That's right. And there's another one here, which is an advert actually for a job. It says, situations vacant. Governess required for Lady Mary aged 7. The child is sadly quite contrary. Oh, do you remember Mary, quite contrary? That's another nursery rhyme. She insists she sees aliens in the garden. Oh, so that's the girl in the story before. She saw the aliens, didn't she? A strict governess is required who can curb this vivid imagination. Apply with references to Lady Fotherington, the Old Rookery, Banbury Cross. So it's just like a real magazine. But let's get back to the prisoner's favourite book. He read his favourite book about... What animal is that? That's right. It's a crocodile. About a greedy crocodile who got fed up with fish and went on land to try and find some other kind of dish. Well, what dish is that? He wants to eat a human being dish. Off he runs. Thank goodness he's got away. He went into a bookshop and he there grew even greedier while reading on page 90 of a large encyclopedia. Do you remember we talked about the encyclopedia at the beginning? We saw that on the bookshelf. And, so he hasn't eaten anyone. He's reading about something delicious. Let's find out. So, while reading on page 90 of a large encyclopedia about... What is that? About the biggest birthday cake the world had ever seen. A team of royal cake makers had made it for the Queen. Can you see the Queen there? Sat on her throne. And look at that cake. Oh, layers and layers of chocolate and icing and candles. Oh, that looks delicious. The cake was so delicious that a famous spaceman took a slice of it to Jupiter. He also took a book. And there is, can you see, spaceman flying in space, and there's a floating piece of the chocolate cake in one hand with a fork, and the other hand he's got his book. And there's his space shuttle. Wow. And also on this encyclopedia, it's got some information here on this side. I'm not going to read you now, but if you have a copy of the book, you can have a look. And it's about the ingredients of the cake and who made it and how it was made. But back to the spaceman. He also took a book about... Ooh, can you see? She's floating, isn't she? It's a ghost story. About a ghost who glided around a castle every night, carrying her head and giving everyone a fright. So there's a mouse running away and a bat and a cat. She scared them all. She kept it up till morning And then she found a shady nook and put her head back on again to read her favourite book. So she can take her head on and off and float around scaring people. But when she reads, she needs to put her head back on there. She's put it back on. Ah, but can you see what is her favourite book? What's on the front cover? Does that look familiar? Can you see a little, there's a dragon and a boy in an armchair? Her favourite book about a cosy armchair and a boy called Charlie Cook. So we've come full circle. The ghost's favourite book is this book that we're reading. Wow, how does that happen? Books inside books inside books. And Charlie looks pleased again. We could go back to the beginning and read the whole story again, couldn't we? Can you see that everybody who's appeared in this story is in this picture? Who can we spot? Well, the first one was about a pirate ship. Yeah, there's the pirate. And then what did we have? We had a knight, didn't we? Yeah, there's the knight sat down there. Is there a dragon anywhere? Oh, I can't spot the dragon. Maybe he's somewhere hidden. Oh, and then we've got, who else can you see? Can you see there? There's the three bears. Where's Goldilocks? Oh, there she is. And we've got the Rowena read a lot. That's right, there she is on the windowsill. And oh, the crook and the king. And where's the astronaut? Oh, there he is. There's the astronaut and the crocodile, the greedy crocodile. Can you see that picture? She's got her head off. It's the ghost. Everyone's there. Oh, and then, yeah, the aliens. Did you spot them? Sat on that lampshade that almost looks a bit like an alien spaceship. Well, that's the end. We've got that picture again of the bookshelf with all the stories that actually appeared in the book. A book and a book and a book. Thank you, Macmillan, for letting me read this story. There's the back page. We've got some of the bears and even Goldilocks is reading a story there. Maybe this might become your new favourite book if you enjoyed it. Maybe you can look through any books you have at home and decide which one you like best. I think you can. You're allowed to have more than one favourite book. In fact, my favourite book changes every week. But I really enjoy this one. I hope you did too. Bye.